Надо же, господи, боже. Разобрались таки. Поверить не могу. Так, Сон, я достучался?
Yes, what is it?
Поговорил.
Okay, but think you can ask him to turn the volume down a bit?
Maximum! Maximum is the only way!
I know it is, but could you please turn it down just this instance? Just this one time? Maximum is not the only way.
Pump it to the brick! Pump it to the hard master! There's no other way!
Glue style? Okay, there literally is no other way. The mixing desk is glued to maximum.
See? He pumps it to the hard master. It's hopeless.
Так, мне кажется, он пытается сказать. Так, о чем?
Because I'm afraid that something might happen. It's an unknown phenomenon. We can always turn it back up if there's a need.
Can't turn down the
Мне
hardcore!
кажется, он пытается сказать, что кнопка не работает.
Of course it is.
Yeah! Permanent enlightenment! Ray of sound!
Never mind then. Let's get on with our project. I'm going to unmute the speakers on a count of 5. Everyone ready?
Egghead pumps his hand up in the air, waiting for the beat to drop.
All ready. Ready.
Поехали.
I'm ready if you two are detectives.
The lieutenant nods stoically. Suddenly, your palms are sweaty. The church seems cold and large.
Не, поехали.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mute disengaged.
5 секунд полет нормальный?
No wind outside, no waves, no floorboards creaking. Total, continuous silence. The woman looks around. In the silence, you see dust move on the floorboards. The driver of the speaker vibrates in the air and then stops. Plasterwork begins to crumble down the
Сейчас крыша
walls.
на голову упадет.
In the silence, a low hum starts creeping up your spine. It's a song inside you, not in the speakers, not in the room. A great bass sigh in the basement of your mind. Slowly, it builds until the air around you starts to vibrate.
Этот яга пернул.
It will devour everything. The floorboards, the glass, the streets and people. Nothing will remain.
Guys, what's going on? It's getting louder.
In the basement, the water looks like it's boiling.
Oceana! Mother of Mega!
In his mind, a tidal wave approaching from afar, swallowing entire coastlines on its way. Salvation.
Слушайте, это что за сраный стук?
The beauty and the beat! The future of dance!
No, Egg! It's the window!
In the corner of your eye, the lieutenant steps aside, cautiously, his eyes searching for a possible evacuation route.
The window is going to come down. No, the roof!
Cracks appear on the stained glass window. Cracks run up the wooden pillars in the dark.
Come down to us! Love!
Below it, all the bass grows, like the jaws of a giant compressor gnawing on metal and wood. It does not sound benevolent. It's shaking the building's foundation. The floor twists. A great pulse arises in your flesh.
That's it. I'm muting it.
Так, я так хочу с ним потанцевать, начать сбивать ритм ногой. Сона, вырубай.
It doesn't stop. A seal? Have you?
Yes, I've turned it off. Andre, pull the compressor!
Fuck! I can't shut it up. The signal's passed. It's not in here. It's...
In the mixing desk now, building into a positive feedback loop. This is it. A great roar. The vault of the roof twists above you. Glass shatters somewhere near the door. It's coming down.
Это в микшере. Ого. Тут не переведена фразочка. Опс.
Egg.
I pulled the plug. It was getting too hardcore. You did good, Egg. Most of the place seems to be intact. Fucking hell. Programmer lady, tell me you were recording that.
4 years. 22 people. Millions of reals. All that time? This is what we were up against. Just erased it. Suliswolf isn't gonna believe this.
Это, конечно, было эпично, но что произошло?
Yeah, but did you record it though? It was dope. I think we can use it.
Yes, Andre. I recorded it. Damn, I need to send some letters now. Thank you all for doing this. Eggman, you too. And you, officer. I don't know what we've discovered, but I know what it sounds like now.
Хим, ты
That-
It
слышал?
was very hard not to. I think you're right. There is something going on here. And you need to be very careful with it.
I promise, officer. We will not play it again.
Что это было? Я никогда не слышал ничего подобного.
It was mathematical information from the anomaly, presented as a waveform. That's what it was technically. Theoretically, I have no idea. I've never even heard of anything like
A
this.
voice seems muffled in the silent church. It's your ears adjusting after the exposure.
Вы напишите Сулиславу?
Yes, our lead designer. And maybe some of the producers too. And some of the writers. If they're sober enough to open a transmission. They need to hear.
That it wasn't her fault. Or theirs.
They need to hear about this. Don't worry, I won't send the recording. Although I doubt they have the speakers to produce the frequency anyway.
Ну и что дальше?
Stay here! I'm going to stay here with these lunatics. Send letters, maybe meet Suliswolf. Also devise further measurements.
I want you to know that's totally chill with us.
I don't care, but thank you anyway.
That's the best she can manage for Andre. It's quite a lot in truth. For her, at least.
Now, I have a theory to come up with. Some kind of preliminary explanation to all this. Or the letter will sound like I've lost my mind.
Yes. And we have to get back to stabilizing Martinez. Instead of demolishing it with loud bass noise of unknown origins.
Белая проверка. На логику. Низкие шансы. Минус здесь не знаешь про серость. Окей, допустим. Ладно. Нифига нас тут, конечно, встряхнуло, чуваки.
Oh, hey man, it's good to see you.
Я все хотел спросить, что это с
It's to
волосами.
express my individuality.
Is that a bald spot? It's hard to tell for sure, with the fused together spikes. But it looks like he's balding.
Может, ты просто
All
лысеешь?
because I'm balding, yes. I want to fuse the remains of my hair together before it leaves me. I want to show my hair. I don't give a fuck how old you think I am. I'm 20,
Сколько тебе на самом деле?
not 20.
Так, это так классно?
Of course it is. Otherwise, I'd just be another poor guy with no education and no money. General issue, man. Now I'm all that, and I have radical spikes.
Понял.
Maybe it was a bad idea. Anyway,
Самообладание.
goodbye, officer.
Потому что можно потанцевать. А есть что-нибудь на самообладание? Так, это наоборот поднимает скорость реакции. Нет, нет, нет. Наверное, где-нибудь с ботинками связано, да? Либристика. Ну вот туфли из змеиной шкуры, которые я с самого начала носил. Больше ничего. Эть. Отправиться на остров, найти птицу, определите выстрел, найти спиртное и покурить. Ох, ни хрена, у меня 4 очка надо. Давайте... Хотя бы несколько раз.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium as you slouch.
Так, значит, у них
Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream.
Нужно закинуться маленько.
You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. And the only prescription is insane amounts of magnesium.
То есть ты говоришь, что мне нужно стать магниевой формой жизни?
Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to ascend the carbon barrier. Go to the apothecary and buy insane amounts of magnesium.
Мне кажется, мой мозг начинает хотеть меня убить. Форма жизни за счет трепета. Так, я хотел качать. Немножко самообладания, чтобы хоть как-то на ногах стоять. Да. Или можно даже несколько было бы. Сила воли, трепет, сумрак. Давайте еще раз. Да. Что может пойти не так? И можно было бы разблокировать мысли. А я могу сразу несколько этих мыслей обрабатывать? Давайте попробуем. Так. Магниевая форма жизни. Что-то пахнущее абрикосовой жвачкой. Давайте возьмем вот это. А здесь... да, видимо, можно по нескольку брать. Женская охота, белый траур. Косвенное налогообложение. Не знаю, с чем это связано, ну допустим. Пускай будет. Так. Я великий мыслитель. Чё, с пляжем? Нет, все равно. 3% расстрелянное бедро. Ай, хрен тебе, не танцы?
Goodbye, officer.
Ну что ж, в таком случае, пойдемте. Не следует делать больше нечего. Так, подожди. А что мне давали мои сапожищи? Они мне давали восприятие. Тогда мы лучше восприятие походим. Пати плюс координация, а там была полицейская волна и визуальная. Это так. Мне это больше нравится. И шапка-ушанка социально-экономического назовизма. Эх, лучше бы я технику качнул, а не это. Ладно, что сделал, то сделал. Фиг уж с ним. Надо было хоть как-то разнообразить набор наших навыков. У нас остается только... А у нас вообще ничего не остается почти. Понедельничные задания я игнорирую. Можно птичку поискать. Что это такое? За лягуха сидит. Было бы птицу поискать свою. Или можно отправиться и там это сделать. Я думаю, в принципе, можно было бы отправиться. Ред. Герои Мартинеза пришли.
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
Так, мне прострелили ногу.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
Ты еще остальных не видела, они все мертвы.
So you're a killer? That's good, I guess. I guess. Better than being dead.
Я не убийца, я коп.
I guess you are. I understand that's how it goes.
У меня к тебе есть вопрос.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
Так, на съедонку ее не получится стаскать из Акима. Нам нужно добраться до того острова.
That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tide just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead.
Пара солнечных дней. Так, давайте по порядку. Можем одолжить его?
If you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull, I just got it nice and yellow, and no drinking on the boat, and no joyriding either.
Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police.
Aye.
Так. Это слушайте кивать.
The crow's feet disappear from the corners of her eyes as she smiles at you.
Так, пару солнечных дней я только что подцепил бактериальный
I'm
инфекцию.
sad to hear that. Take care of that with ether, will you? Don't get too many RCM men round here. Be sad to lose the first one.
Курага, отойди на пару минут, мне надо ее стаскать кое-куда. А что на том острове?
Nothing. Just ruins. Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think. Bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself, always steered clear of it.
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
Ты сказала, что сама там не бывала, а кто-нибудь бывал, если не ты?
My husband used to drink there. Him and his drinking buddies. Always seemed like a bad place to drink to me. People died there during the landing, you know. My mother told me.
This must be one of the many fortifications that was used in the dying days of the revolution against coalition forces before they took this city.
The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not to, but they bring back old bullet casings and such.
Какие дети?
Twins. God forbid they bring the girl along on some rickety barge.
Can we maybe ask your twins about that place before we go?
Be my guest. They've a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. I seldom do.
Есть ли это как лучше добраться?
Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side. Water's deep there.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Так, спасибо.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
Так, чем ты тут
Like I
занимаешься?
said, fish mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. Right now I'm tarring a little skiff.
Так, что-то еще?
I sell the fish to people in the Delta to serve at their fancy restaurants. Authentic insular Indian cuisine.
Ей этого хватает на жизнь?
Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea has given up. The sea is full of surprises.
Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on her.
Довольно романтично. Так, ясно, кажется, я понял. Интересно, и что это надо смотреть?
Wood, pieces of glass. Every once in a while we see dead bodies. Human, animal, fish, other odd sea creatures. A mine washed ashore once.
А тут пистолетов никаких не выносило в последнее время на море?
Bottles, drugs also. Lost cargo in general. Most of the time it's just wood and glass.
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
Только одно. Наркотики, мне нужно больше информации. Я спец. Мину. Мне нужно больше знать о человеческих телах. Что насчет мины?
Well, the RCM has to wait for another one, because some army folks came by, took it in the middle of the bay and blew it up. The blast was surprisingly timid for such a huge spiky thing.
Spiky. Must have been a naval contact mine.
Так. Ладно, увидимся. Пойдем поговорим, узнаем, что там насчет этого острова. У нас ее дети постоянно туда таскаются. Вы, да, значит? А где этот дурак? А, ну вот он. Все сидишь, бухаешь? Завидую, да.
Man, you're like bleeding now. Reality's really messed you up.
Да, поведай.
Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than a beach bum.
Ну, хоть почему
It depends, really. Are you willing to help me out?
Чем?
You might get scammed here.
Чего тебе
Booze.
надо,
Did you already forget our party? The thing I relayed to you earlier.
У меня вроде есть.
So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me.
На? Подожди, а. Может быть... А, ну ладно, пофигу.
Not much, but it will do.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Don't call Abigail! Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here.
Cool story.
Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George. But around here, you already know.
Да.
I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder / junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract value generation, value per person, high concept stuff. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went jogging every so often to keep myself sane.
И сколько человек на тебя работало?
22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals.
22
Worrying about them
человека?
often kept me up well into the morning hours.
А ты случайно не знаешь Сону, которая там сидит? Она тоже что-то про 22 человека говорила. И
It
помогала?
did. With my trusty Sansarique tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer the world. But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit.
И
One
что?
day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are clouded, his dilated blood vessels encircling his irises like stinging brambles.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see. At least, that was the plan. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, very quickly.
Насколько мог ходить?
Wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass.
Уф.
Ouch, indeed. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. But when life knocked me down, I always got up. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment key.
Так, что случилось дальше?
I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something and hung up before I could even explain the situation. People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, he'd already done it, and I couldn't get in. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a homeless man. The company, well, you see where I'm going with this.
He pinches his thigh as if to check whether this reality is the reality.
So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh?
Так. Деда, все такое чувство, что ты что-то пропустил. Коп, умствую уже несколько дней. Так, я могу все варианты протыкать? Все такое чувство, что...
Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time. If there was anything else to it, I would have thought of it by now.
Why didn't you go to the authorities?
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I didn't have any ID on me. So they tossed me in jail for 2 days. I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen.
Так, я вам уже просто уже несколько дней. Нам кажется, так уж плохо.
The hobo lifestyle definitely has some perks. Not having to pay rent, first and foremost. Not being responsible for 20 other people is nice too. But that charm wears off pretty quickly. Before you know it, you're wearing a shit-stained tracksuit and spending your days picking tear.
Так, твое прозвище. Почему ты постоянно все теряешь?
Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this formerly premium but now extremely dirty two-piece lycra tracksuit? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. I had a nice apartment, an even nicer piece of ass. But somehow it all got away from me. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket, but then I lost it too. The only things I haven't lost are these two drunks.
You of all people should empathize with this. Perhaps this lost jacket is something you could help with?
Как называется твое агентство?
My agency, man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the lowest forms of marketing. The color red, breasts, and oil painting. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high-concept cultural incubator called Thin Air. The artists were happy, the clients were happy. I was financing a group of poets in East Rebishal who were developing a new universal poetic language. But then it all went to shit.
If it sounds like it makes no sense, that's because it doesn't.
Это настолько концептуально, что я не понимаю, о чем речь. Смещение высокого и низкого, торговля культурой, все мне это очень по душе. Но и живописи для рекламы это не искусство. Столько концептуально, что я не понимаю, о чем ты.
I know. It was fucking awesome. Until I went on a jog, unleashing a cascade of doom that washed it all away.
А что по поводу костюма?
What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before? Go on, feel that primo material.
Я его чувствую.
Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind. Should probably be in a museum, honestly.
Good God.
Ой-ой.
It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. You feel about 15% less human for having touched it.
Ужас.
Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TM, to be associated with a number of exotic, highly malignant cancers, so you also have that to look forward to. And then there's the smell, but you don't even want to think about that.
Wow, you're lucky. He never lets me feel it.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them anytime.
А что вот эти вот два уважаемых?
My fellow members of the Union of Moribund Alcoholics? They're exactly what they look like.
Hey, Tequila! You want to buy some speed?
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. He's a cop, remember?
I thought he was a cool cop.
Don't call Abigail.
And this is Abs. So yeah, that's basically us. We drink together.
Смотрите мы. Просто непонятно. А что же в твердой куртке?
Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Sure, it didn't really go with my Lycra threads, but it did itch a lot less.
Это не та куртка, которая там висела на заборе, которую я еще прачку просил отстирать.
Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila?
Ты говоришь об этом?
Nah, this isn't it. Found? That's medium concept stuff. Totally not my style.
Так, то есть ты хочешь сказать, что где-то еще одна есть?
It's a big world out there, Tequila. A lot of lost jackets in it. Don't know why you'd think this could possibly be mine.
Hey, Doom Spiral. Ain't that the jacket you stole the other week?
Not on your fucking life, Rosemary. What's wrong with you people? Like I'd be caught dead wearing found, like some low-concept bicycle courier. Tell you what, Tequila. Why don't you just hang on to that one? I'll get another jacket. Someday.
Вы на секретно найдите куртку, которую потерял.
At least you got a nice jacket for your troubles.
Окей, увидимся
Окей.
тогда.
Let's step aside for a second.
Что-то там такое опять хочет на меня наехать.
I've been meaning to have a little chat with you about your sense of style.
В моем стиле?
It's, well, a little eclectic, don't you think? How would you even describe what you're wearing?
Суперзвездный casual. Обычный из обычнейших, офисный стиль предвестника каким-то всего лишь одежды, какая разница. Так, как бы я его описал? Суперзвездный casual.
Well, I can't say it doesn't fit you. Still, you might try branching out a little. You know the expression, the clothes make the man. The right outfit in the right situation can make all the difference in the world.
Так. Ну, может быть, а ты следишь за модой?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, detective.
A warm smile.
Anyway, we should probably get back to the case. Let's go.
А к чему это ты сказал, что я такой из себя модник-то? Это к чему это было, курага? Не хочешь мне поведать там чего-нибудь, нет? Что ты мою волыну там таскаешь где-то у себя за пазухой, а я и не знаю об этом. Так, детвора, у нас есть пара вопросов.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
Так, вы были на том острове?
On that island,
No.
that's, nothing. It's just a seafort and some plants. You can take a raft there, it's great. And we make a fire. We make a fire. Mm-hmm. Gather the sticks for the fire. And bullets. Or not real bullets, empty bullets.
Гильзы.
Bullet shells. There are a lot of them left over from the war, but this could be important.
Ты имеешь в виду гильзы?
I don't know what these are.
Что
They're
дальше?
lights. The fire guy comes and asks us to put the fire out.
Пожарник?
They must mean a human being on that island, but it's cut off.
На острове кто-то живет?
No.
В смысле?
Yes.
Так нет или да?
Let's go with yes.
Я согласен. Почему он пожарник?
Because he asks to put the fire out.
Почему он просит вас потушить огонь?
I don't know. He doesn't like it. He don't like people to be there. You shouldn't go.
Это я там проживаю на самом деле.
Yes.
Да. Ты что говорил про свет?
I don't know.
О, боже.
Did you mean there are electrical lights?
Yes.
Угу. Можете еще что-нибудь рассказать о нем? Возраст?
No, he doesn't live there. I don't think. No, he lives there. Been there twice, 2 times. He doesn't live there. He isn't there sometimes.
Anything else? What does this guy look like?
I don't know.
Так.
We ran. He just yelled we shouldn't be there.
Ваш отец бывал на этом острове?
Our father killed himself. Don't say that, he didn't.
Так, ничего подобного. Ваш отец не
I
убивался.
don't know.
Ну не.
Doesn't even have anything to do with this, you. Father isn't the fire guy.
The two things are unconnected. Your question didn't make sense.
Так, это все, что вы можете рассказать? Может, знаете еще что-нибудь?
There's
Там, что там?
Lights, fire guy. We should check up on that island.
Ладно, я уж не буду говорить, что дети тупые, а то мало ли он скажет: "О, как ты посмел? Я же мать! Как ты смеешь обижать моих детей? А, недоводку!" И придется нам плыть на этом плоте. Так, с игральных костей. А что? Что мне с ней? Набережная я могу... А, теперь я, кстати, могу телепортироваться. Travel here. You are here. Travel here. Допустим, я могу. Чего ради? Типа... Тут... Не знаю, что-то есть? кто-то из вас мне может сказать, почему мне, типа, что я в окрестностях здесь, типа, вот речься костей, типа. И вот, например. У меня тут тоже была же какая-то проверка, по-моему, да?
Hi again, gendarme.
У меня равный шанс, кстати говоря.
Could he be a member of the homosexual underground?
Что? Нет, подожди, я думал, он может мне рассказать что-нибудь про остров этот пропаганды, а он...
Just pointing it out. We're not talking about some kind of cult with members here. You made it up.
Ты принадлежишь?
The homosexual underground? Why, yes I am, officer. Why? Do you want to investigate?
Да!
Oh, it's a pleasure group. A Sabrosa pleasure group congregating in cellars under the cover of night. Saturday night. Sometimes even Friday night.
Что значит
Or Thursday night. Sometimes the congregating doesn't even end. It carries on into our daily life.
Чем вы там забираетесь?
Oh, we're ambitious. We want to destroy the last vestiges of meaning, the last things people in Rebishul have to hold on to, the true symbols of security. The meaning of man and woman, mother and father, their marriage. Everything will be constantly shifting and moving under our rule. The future will belong to a circus of identities just spinning around, surreal and unreal. You won't even know who you are, but do you also like the razzle-dazzle of gold? Do you like parties and discos and having fun under the vibrant lights of Saturday night? Because instead of the traditional family unit, we're going to have all this razzmatazz. And mysteries, of course, too. Mysteries of sexual nature, very esoteric. And disco music and drugs.
Вот там, где диски и наркотики.
You can't just get into it. You have to be born into it. One is either already in the homosexual movement, or forever excluded from it.
Если я не помню этого?
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's exactly what we're looking for. Who knows, maybe you were homosexual in the past. Maybe all of that has been repressed. I have to say that you do look like someone who might be part of the underground. You have that very distinctive, I can't understand what's going on here look.
Okay.
Do think about it, officer. Absolutely wonderful.
Просто восхитительно.
Bye-bye, gendarme.
Я еще и мысль какую-то с него получил за это. Он меня тут буквально-таки оскорбил. 8 часов. Если не знакомство в ночи. Ага, круто. На задний привод выйду. Вау, фантастика, кто ж знал-то? Ладно. А вот этот, он вообще ни о чем, да? Он просто здесь сидит по приколу. Просто троллит меня. Видимо. По-моему, с первого дня. Торчит. Фантастика, просто фантастика. Единственное, что нам теперь остается, это только отправиться на остров, чтобы определить там же и выстрел. Чисто по приколу. Посмотрим, что там насчет этой птички.
A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminine Islands and in southern Fas al-Amer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, they often exhibit various behavioral issues.
Хорошо.
This book talks about the delicate nature of toos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. The funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, and the most common bang-bang cockatoo. It's colorfully illustrated.
Я травный большой королевский тук-тук какаду. Так, какие же этих птиц проблемы?
Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk and have been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up.
Кому еще нужен болтливый товарищ, найти того, кто умеет слушать. Я был бы не против.
Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become aggressive.
Понятно. Довольно печальная картина. Еще
It
что-то?
is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own.
Хорошо, но ведь должны же как-то быть какие-то выдающиеся.
You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle and show off, and will even scream for fun, often as loud as up to 135 decibels. Ouch. That must hurt. Not great for the neighbors. Performing? Yes, birdie.
Траурный какой-то.
This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus venereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if dressed for a funeral, 24/7. There is something indisputably ominous about it. Ooh.
Круто. Большой королевский.
Perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species. It must be glorious to behold, dark pink and snow white.
Так, а самый обычный?
Despite its banging name, the bang-bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminoles forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly grey and white. The Seminoles name, bang-bang, is thought to be of onomatopoeic origins.
Так, честно говоря, прям-таки похоже на меня.
Yes, but all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you?
Обычный серый тук-тук. Замечательно, большой королевский. Если мы топка, ну так. Траурный какаду, очевидно.
You're right. You're Psittacus venereus embodied. This ominous bird belongs on your heraldry.
Круто. Так, и все? Описание, кинженция. Ну и все, у нас больше никаких вариантов других нету. Пошли, полагаем. Просто он куда? Ну, говорит, чтобы отправиться.
Be careful out there. Sea's calm as death, but still. There are ruins underwater. You can scrape the paint, or worse.
Так, ну ладно. Или хуже. Хотя куда уж хуже-то. Ну чё, полурака, поплыли.
A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats on the calm mirror of the sea. Its 2 seats are empty.
Идеально.
The boat's belly is a shiny yellow color, industrial paint over fresh tar. You see it reflect off the water, along with the factory number, A72. Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle, and you're off into the bay. A strange trepidation comes over you. Are you sure you want to go now?
У нас нет других заданий, поэтому это единственное, что мы можем сделать, так что...
Have you made all the necessary preparations? Closed all your accounts? Remember what the net picker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this.
Так, бери на себя управление, Ким, я буду держать магнитофон.
What?
Что? Как еще нам врубить грусть FM?
Fine. Let's blast Sad FM then.
Sad FM is a radio station specializing in sad, slow rock songs. You seem to know its frequency by heart.
Давай.
to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last Want to be free.
The boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off. Then, in the silence, a sputter of wings. A flock of quails takes off in the distance. Let's go.
Ну и что мы теперь здесь делать будем? Так. Понятно, мысли, как обычно, улетают куда-то в жопень. Какая-то нефть, ржавится куда-то.
The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast.
Сказать цепь.
Ah, yes, so it seems.
Как думаешь, для чего она?
For bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies? You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain.
As a defensive measure, lock it off that side of the bay.
Кому?
From enemies. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
Интересное наблюдение. Нам ничего не упало. Что здесь еще есть? Эти шины просто разваливающиеся с ними на 50 не меньше. Подожди, а я? Да я, походу, не могу проникнуть. У меня тут только один ход. Наверх. Окей, ладно, как скажете. С бочкой ведь будет немного топлива, черный вяз. Мысль улетела. Осторожно, огнеопасно. Это мы любим. Это мы знаем. Что звук? Что-то падает. Опять.